Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Not only are we on an FM, a very powerful AM/FM station, but we're also broadcasting live on our YouTube channel, which is the Vegas Take. We broadcast live every day on that channel. You can see our beautiful mugs.
Oh, yes, and Brian, you can catch Brian with his sweet white visor and his frosted tips, and you can catch myself with my Abraham Lincoln, T-shirt, as well as my Vegas Gold Knights shirt.
Not exactly two guys that'll be on the front of Fitness Magazine anytime soon, I will say that. No?
Come on now.
But we have a professional prankster on the line with us right now, and these guys have been on our show before. They are absolutely hilarious. Jason Selvig is with the Good Liars. Some of the pranks that they've done, a recruitment poster with Don Jr. on them saying, I won't sign up, but you can, in regards to the military. They held up a sign at a Trump rally that reads, and there's a photo of this, poorly educated for Trump. They also placed a plaque on Jeffrey Epstein's mansion commemorating Alan Dershowitz's massage. And their latest prank involves Don Jr. and their Daddy Please Love Me cover. Joining us right now on the line is Jason Selvig. Jason, thank you so much for being here. How are you, my man?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. I love some of these pranks you do. It just cracks me up. Let's start with this latest one where the Don Jr. prank. Can you give us exactly what went down there?
Yeah, well, we were actually in Iowa last week, and Don Jr. was there caucusing for his father, a.k.a. trying to earn his father's love. And
good luck with that.
Yeah, I know. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But we brought a copy of Daddy Please Love Me to the event, and we tried to give it to him. He was on the other side of a door, and we could see him. And one of his handlers saw me with the book, holding it up for him to sign. And I was like, "Hey, man, do you mind if Don Jr. signs this?" He was like, "Yeah, come on in." And then he was like, "Let me see that book." And he saw the cover of it and then physically shoved me away. But afterwards, I was able to catch Don Jr.'s eyes, and in a moment I'll never forget. I held up the book and was like, "Hey, man, can you sign this?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And he motioned for me to come, and then he saw the cover of it, and immediately there was a look of, it might have been sadness. I don't know if he's capable of feeling sadness, but there was a look on his face that I'll never, ever forget. We got a video of it, so we're going to be putting it out soon.
All right, and when you put it out, we will post it on our Twitter page. So the front of the book says, "Daddy, please love me. How everything I do is to try to earn my father's love." And it's a picture of him with this dumb look on his face. He always has a dumb look on his face. Then on the back, it says, "Daddy, please love me. Everything I do with my, wants to earn my father's love." And it says, "Look, I wrote a book for you. Are you proud? Dad, want to have a catch?"
And it looks like he's on one of his big game hunting trips, right? Where he's sitting on a rock somewhere. So there you go.
I think that is absolutely okay. So you're telling me one of Donald.
But the craziest part about the actual book cover is people are like, where'd you get that picture of him? And I was like, no, that's the actual picture from his actual book.
Yes.
We didn't change the picture at all.
So, Jason, can you remind me? I remember you guys came on and you talked about how you replaced Triggered at the Barnes & Noble display. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? Because this is also a hilarious prank that you guys did.
Yeah, well, it was the week that his book came out, and we went and replaced the book covers in the front display of his book with the Daddy Please Love Me book covers, and then we moved them all to the young adult fiction section of Barnes & Noble.
Was anyone buying it? Did anybody pick up the book and buy it?
We got out of there after we put the books up there. I think, but other people have. We sent the book cover to other people, and people have sent us pictures. People are doing this across the nation. They're putting the book covers on and leaving them in libraries and Barnes and Nobles across the country.
Do you think that if you replace some of a fleece or something like that says Trump 2020 on it or something with a Klan outfit, do you think there's any chance that some people would actually buy those?
Well, funny enough, we actually have already done that.
Oh, you did? I didn't know that.
We did that. We did that at Trump Tower in the gift shop in 2017 after he gave his famous "good people on fine people on both sides" speech. we put Trump brand white hoods in the Trump Tower gift shop and put them for sale.
Did anybody buy them?
Honestly, they were gone the next day, so maybe somebody bought them. But the postcards were still up there. We put some postcards up there too.
I think that is. And by the way, you have pulled some pranks on Democrats as well, have you not?
We have, for sure.
Give me a story, something, because for our Republican listeners, they might think, oh, they just go after a Republican, just the Trump family. So give me an example of a Democrat that you went after.
Well, all of this, it's kind of a little sadder now in retrospect when you look at the world that we're in right now. But in 2016, while we were filming, we have a movie called Undecided that you could watch on iTunes and all those places, but where we put on T-shirts that said "Settle for Hillary" and stood behind her at a campaign rally. So the news was that Hillary supporters were wearing "Settle for Hillary" shirts. And then later on, we went to another Hillary rally and took our shirts off and wrote "Hill is perfect" to Hillary for president on our chest. And Hillary's campaign put us in a campaign ad for her. Like, look at how crazy our supporters are. And they knew exactly who we were, and they still made a campaign ad out of it.
If you're just joining us, we're speaking with Jason Selvig, professional prankster from The Good Liars. They are very, very funny. Their latest prank, he tried to give his book cover of "Daddy, Please Love Me" to Donald Trump Jr. to get him to sign it, and I guess one of his handlers pushed him away, and then when he made his second attempt, he almost got to Don Jr., and then Don Jr. looked at the book cover. Can you describe the face in the best way you can? Because you said you'll never forget the face that Don Jr. made when you showed him the cover of this book that says "Daddy, Please Love Me." Describe the look that he gave you, if you can, on the radio. I know that might be difficult to do.
Sad disappointment. So basically the look his dad gives him all the time. I think that's the best way to describe it. And we should say that DeVrom, my sometimes literal partner in crime, he was able to have a better interaction with Don Jr. We're going to post the picture from that later this week. He actually was with him in the flesh. We've got a great picture and video to go along with that.
Was Kimberly Guilfoyle around?
She wasn't. She was actually caucusing, I think, at another caucus. They literally were going across the state like a virus at that point. In infecting all the different counties of Iowa. I
think it's funny that one of his handlers gets physical with you. That does not surprise me, but it is kind of funny.
So, Jason,
but I should say something about Don Jr. After seeing him live. He actually is a very good public speaker, and we saw a lot of the candidates while we were there in Iowa, and he really held a room. So I know we all like to make fun of him. I'm a little worried about what's going to happen in 2024 if Trump ever gives up office. We don't win in 2020. So
that'll be a disaster.
So, Jason, of course, we're talking a lot about politics here, and look, there's no question that when it comes to this type of stuff that you guys are doing, it is a target-rich environment, to say the least, when it comes to politicians, right? And as Brian pointed out, you can also do Democrats as well, too. But let me toss these names out there. People like maybe in the coming months, as we roll up through the 2020 election cycle here, you're going to have opportunities for people like Lindsey Graham, for people like maybe even people like Al Franken or, Anthony Weiner, people that are in the past, obviously. But I got to believe there's all types of opportunity for you guys on both sides of the aisle, given what we're about to embark on here in the 2020 election.
Yeah, I think the 2020 election is going to be, it is going to be crazy. And the Trump people especially, just the way they've sold themselves out after being publicly humiliated by him several times. Guys like Ted Cruz, who we'd pranked in 2016, but has just kind of just humiliated himself at the feet of Trump.
Yes.
There's just he creates new material for himself. Marco Rubio, same thing. We'd pranked him before, but now it's like he's selling himself out for Trump after he called him Little Marco and said he couldn't get elected dog catcher. And now he's saying he's the best president ever. So
I wonder what would happen if you went to a Melania Trump event and you showed up at with one of her naked pictures and asked her to sign it. I wonder what that reaction would be like. I bet she might sign it. It's possible.
I would rather go up and with divorce papers for her.
That's hilarious.
Give these to your husband. We can get you out of whatever contract.
You know what?
Signed.
Just
Trust me.
date it. Yeah, just date it whenever he's out of office, because I actually do think that's going to happen. It'd be like, what would happen if you went to a Trump event? It's obviously extremely difficult to. You're not going to get the access to him like you would with his son. But like if you like underneath like your Trump hat, or I don't know, you took out like a Klan outfit and had him to sign that. What do you think Trump's response would be to that?
I honestly think if he signed it, like his poll numbers wouldn't change. He could put it on, and people would be like, even moderate Republicans would be like, look, yeah, he did. He put on a Klan outfit, but still the economy's doing great. I'm going to vote for it. We're getting to the point where none of this even matters.
No, you're right. Sadly, you're right.
For a second.
Yeah, sadly, I agree with you. I know you guys are currently working on an election project. Can you give us any information on what that is?
I can't. It's top secret. It is super
secret.
top secret. In like also like a not top secret at all type of way. But no, we are working on something. It's going to be out hopefully before the election. But that's about all I can say right now.
Fair enough. Okay, so I've seen people that are mocking, Buttigieg for being gay. I saw an image yesterday of Pete Buttigieg and his husband on a swing set together, holding each other. I think it was a real picture, and then in the caption below it said, "Are these the type of people that the terrorists are going to be scared of?" You know, people are mocking the fact. You guys don't necessarily do stuff like that, right? You're making fun of Don Jr. because yes, he sucks up to his daddy, and let's be honest, Don Jr. he doesn't really have any real accomplishments in his life. You guys aren't, in my opinion, you guys aren't going over the line. There's a line you don't cross, right, Jason?
Yeah, that absolutely, and I think the diversity of the candidates is a great thing, and I think it would be great to have our first gay president. There's a lot of things you can get mad at Pete Buttigieg for, but just like some tired homophobic joke, doesn't appeal to us.
I agree. So
absolutely,
I agree. So you go to this Trump rally, and you're holding up a sign that says "Poorly educated for Trump." First of all, how do you get in there with that? And how long did it take for people to get you kicked out of there? Like, explain to me that situation.
Well, this quote actually happened in Nevada. I'm sure you guys know this. He said after the Nevada caucuses, you guys do caucuses, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. He said that they won the poorly educated vote, and he loved the poorly educated. Oh, I love the poorly educated. So we thought we would make signs that in just, using Trump's words, we're not trying to like necessarily mock the individual there. It's just like, hey, Trump said this. Let's embrace it in a Trumpian way. So we handed out the signs to people, and I gave people the option. You either can take Iowa for Trump or poorly educated for Trump. And some people took Iowa and some people took poorly educated without thinking twice. So, it wasn't just that we were holding up the signs. We were actually giving them to the people as they went into the rally.
And that's genius, because if they flip it around, people are still going to see it on the other side. That's what makes it so funny. So did anybody get you guys did the Epstein prank? I think I alluded to that earlier. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, Alan Dershowitz was named to Trump's defense team on the impeachment trial, and we were like, "Oh, that's interesting. He's such an accomplished guy. He represented O.J. Simpson. He represented Jeffrey Epstein. He got a massage at Jeffrey Epstein's mansion, which is just a totally normal thing to do. Go to your buddy's house and get a massage." And he famously said, "Yes, I got a massage there, but I kept my underwear on the entire time." So we thought we would memorialize that moment. We made a plaque and we put it on Jeffrey Epstein's mansion, and we said on this site, Alan Dershowitz received a massage from one of Jeffrey Epstein's employees, and we put his quote and his face on there, just to make sure that moment in time is preserved for forever.
Yeah.
And it's insane that this guy is still in the public sphere after, what probably was a crime that was being committed. Obviously, lots of crimes were committed in Jeffrey Epstein's house, but
can you imagine?
He took part in it.
Can you imagine an image of Alan Dershowitz lying on a massage table in his tighty whities? That might be one of the most grotesque things. I mean, that's just brutal, man.
That's
it's
rough.
Just brutal. Oh my God, it's terrible. It's awful.
So that should have been the picture, actually, we put up there. So maybe we'll do another one.
Jason, I love this. I'm telling you, this concept, this stuff that you guys have going on, it's almost like it's an updated multimedia version here in 2020 of the Jerky Boys back in the day. You guys remember, of course, what the Jerky Boys were about. Obviously, they were just doing phone calls. They were just having shout-outs to people. But this is kind of like a more in-depth type of thing that is hilarious, to say the least.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Jason, do you remember the Jerky Boys? I don't know how old you are, but do you remember the concept that they had?
I do remember the Jerky Boys.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember the Jerky.
They're awesome. Well, listen, Jason, I know you can't talk too much about your latest election project, but when you do whatever it is that you're going to be doing, we'd love to have you back on to talk about it. I think you guys are absolutely hilarious. It's great, and I always appreciate it when you guys come on with us. Thank you so much, Jason, for your time.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you,
bet.
Jason.
There you go. Jason Selvig from the professional pranksters, The Good Liars. They are hilarious. Check them out. Check out their website. They're some funny people. All right, coming up next, Susan Rice telling Snoop Dogg to back the F off. We'll explain why coming up next. You're listening to The Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, K-Dawn. Welcome back. It is The Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. It's amazing now. It's been over 2 weeks since Kobe Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter, and 7 others lost their lives in that tragic helicopter crash. And Gayle King did an interview with Lisa Leslie last week. And in that interview, Gayle King brought up the rape allegations. I wouldn't have brought it up, but I don't think she did anything wrong. She said, does it hurt his legacy, what took place 17 years ago? Lisa Leslie with a very eloquent response. Again, I'm not going to criticize Gayle King. She's been doing this a long time, and she phrased it the right way. I don't think it was an inappropriate thing to ask. Well, people went off on Gayle King, including Snoop Dogg. This is what Snoop Dogg's response was to Gayle King's question.
Gayle King, out of pocket for that. Way out of pocket. What do you gain from that? I swear to God, we the worst. We the worst. We expect more from you, Gayle. Don't you hang out with Oprah? Why y'all attacking us? We your people. You ain't coming after Harvey Weinstein asking them dumb-ass questions. I get sick of y'all. I want to call you one. Is it okay if I call her one? Funky dog head bitch. How dare you try to tarnish my motherfucking homeboy's reputation, punk motherfucker. Respect the family and back off, bitch, before we come get you.
Okay, well, O.J. Simpson also, the very credible double murderer O.J. Simpson, also responding on Twitter. Here's what he had to say to Gayle King.
The other thing is this Kobe Bryant, Gayle King thing. I'm not the most objective guy when it comes to Gayle King. A few years back on national TV, she made a comment that it was inappropriate for me to be visiting my ex-wife's grave, something that me, my family, and friends on special occasions and birthdays and Christmas and stuff had done for years, and I couldn't understand why it was any of her business and why she would say that on national TV. I know this thing about Kobe, she's going to claim journalistic integrity. Whole lot of people got journalistic integrity, didn't feel that this was the right time to do that. There'll be plenty of time in the future to bring up all aspects of Kobe's life. Right now, we should be celebrating the greatness of Kobe Bryant. God bless Kobe and his family. I'm just saying, take care.
Yes, because there's nothing weird or inappropriate with beheading your ex-wife and then visiting her grave. Yeah, I'm going to take Gayle King's side on that. So Susan Rice, okay, the former national security advisor, speaking out against Snoop Dogg. Here's what she had to say. She said, quote, "This is despicable. Gayle King is one of the most principled, fair, and tough journalists alive. Snoop, back the F off. You come for Gayle King, you come against an army. You will lose, and it won't be pretty." Snoop Dogg kind of backtracked his comments a little bit. He said he meant no harm, but he's not really apologizing for what he said. Chris, what do you make of this?
Initially, I thought about Gayle King. I said to myself, what's the real reason why you would even talk to Lisa Leslie in an interview about that subject? I don't necessarily understand the rationale for that. But that being said, let's be honest about it. Snoop went way over the line because there was an actual threat in that actually in his diatribe that he went through. There was an actual threat against Gayle King. So I think it's not mutually exclusive. I think you can be right on both sides. I don't necessarily myself. I don't consider myself a journalist, but I wouldn't probably go down that road if I'm with Lisa Leslie. It's not like you're talking to someone that where the discussion about the rape case in Colorado is relevant. Lisa Leslie, why would you ask her about that? There's no reason to.
I don't think she should have.
I get that. Yeah, I don't think she should have gone down that road. But at the same time, I mean, come on.
Not going to attack her for it.
Snoop Dogg you can't go that far.
Again, it's not something I would have done.
Yeah.
You are talking to arguably one of the most famous female basketball players of all time in Lisa Leslie.
Right.
And the fact that she's a woman, the fact that she was friends with Kobe. I understand why Gayle King asked that question. Maybe a year from now, that would have been more appropriate time to do it. I think the timing of it was wrong. Look, when it boils down to it, what did Kobe Bryant do? He cheated on his wife 17 years ago. He made up amends for that 100 times over. Great husband, great father. Anyone who knows him best knows all the things he did to help so many people, and he was such a great family man. So, yes, I do not agree at all with Gayle King bringing that up. I'm on your side on this. I'm just saying
look, I like Snoop too, but Brian, seriously, he was, you can't justify
By
that.
the way, I Stand With Gayle is now trending on Twitter. Gayle King is very good at what she does, and I do support her on this one. Snoop was way out of line. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the Hollywood conservative and Trump supporter, Mr. X, talking Oscars, coming up next.